In today's Jamaica Magazine, we are giving you tips for staying safe while on the road, plus an update on work happening at one of the island's busiest thoroughfares. And later, an ode to the hardworking individuals who keep our streets clean. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back after this message.
Motorists, when driving on the road, here are some simple reminders. Look out for and extend courtesy to all road users. Give plenty of room to pedestrians, especially in wet weather. Drive slowly. No bother wet them up. Slow down when approaching a pedestrian crossing or school, and always be prepared to stop. Remember, a school zone is a 30-kilometer zone. Cut your speed. Drivers of large and slow-moving vehicles should always keep in the far left hand of a dual carriageway. Keep it simple. Drive left and pass right. These are just simple reminders of your road duties. Drive safely.
Up next, motorists using the roads leading to and from 3 miles are experiencing a smoother ride these days. Head to the streets with us as we show you all the work that's already been done.
Driving through 3 miles all the way down Hagley Park Road a few years ago might have been any of these things for you. A chaotic encounter of traffic from maybe about 3 sections of the island. A resounding morning and evening tune of piercing vehicular horns. Or an irksome journey for a motoring public in a hurry, but hardly going anywhere. With 70,000 vehicles filtered through the 3 miles area daily, it's one of the country's busiest intersections, and now one of the most accommodating. Here's how we dissect 4 separate components of the work at the Hagley Park Road Legacy Project.
As it relates to the bridge here at Portia Simpson Miller Square, the bridges are complete. As a matter of fact, they are in use. What is left to be done is that along the structure that takes persons along Spanish Town Road, we have a bit of paving to do at the eastern end of that lane, or those lanes that take persons towards downtown Kingston. The contractor is now working to do the final bit of work so that the asphaltic concrete works can begin on those 2 lanes that take traffic into downtown Kingston. The lanes that take traffic out of the city towards 6 Mile, those lanes have been done. We still have a bit of work to do along Spanish Town Road up to the boundary. So part and parcel of what we intend to do is to have certain points along Hagley Park Road signalized. So we intend to put back the signals, and we have done so at Woodglen Avenue. We have put up a new set of signals at O'Mara Road, also at Keysing Avenue, Margaret Villa. We are yet to have the signals there installed, but rest assured, this will be done before the project is complete. We are also going to be putting back the signals at Waltham Park Road and Hagley Park Road. Signals are there as we speak, but those are of a temporary nature. The permanent signals will be put up at all of these locations. In respect of the laying of the main sewer trunk, that has been completed. We still have work to do in respect of the connections that are to be made to the different entities along Hagley Park Road. That, of course, will be done by the National Water Commission at the appropriate time. In respect of the stormwater drains, we still have a bit of work to do in the 3 miles area to ensure that all the new features that we have installed, that there is interconnectivity taking the water into the main drain that takes it out to sea. So I would say that the drainage network is somewhere in the 90s insofar as percentage complete is concerned. In terms of the corridor, we would have completed the widening activity. What is being done now in terms of activities, we are putting in the sidewalks in areas along Hagley Park Road. We still have some work to do in respect of the completion of infrastructure to do with the laying of some docks, but that I expect will be completed in very, very short order so that the sidewalk works can move apace in those areas where such activity is outstanding.
So, if you're heading to 6 Miles, if you're going to downtown, or heading to Marcus Garvey Drive or Halfway Tree, that converging conflict at 3 Miles is much easier on the motoring public. Now, the Hagley Park Road Legacy project is about 80% complete, but already the motoring public that are still in a hurry seem to be moving, and the honking horns play at a reduced decibel.
Now we have been able to separate the traffic into 3 distinct flows, and so that in and of itself would have brought some significant benefits to the motoring public.
But recognizing that there are still outstanding works to be done, persons are being encouraged to use the road with extreme caution.
As the days and the weeks are ticked off, rest assured that persons will start to not only see but feel the benefits of the improved works that we have done along Hagley Park Road.
When you're on the road, take your time. When you're on the road, bear this in mind. When you're on the road, you could save a life when you're on the road.
New driving services means easier commute. But one thing that should be a constant, safety. Coming up, some advice for protecting yourself on the road, whether you walk, ride, or drive.
Pedestrians, it is only safe to cross this designated part of the road if you follow the road rules. Never attempt to cross before the indication is given, and do not try to beat the oncoming traffic which has the green light.
You have overhead bridges, and overhead bridges are safe areas that are provided for pedestrians to cross. What we are seeing are pedestrians dashing across dual carriageways and then leaping over concrete medians. That is a no-no. We have had persons who have lost their lives doing that. And I am now appealing to pedestrians to do the right thing and access the overhead bridges that are provided in order to save your own life.
Where there is no overhead bridge or crossing sign, use the pedestrian crossing with caution. Monitor the lights and cross when it's safe to do so. That is a dangerous practice and a 99.9% chance of this happening.
The amount of kinetic energy that comes upon your body, that is going to determine whether or not you survive.
There are several signs. Road signs are the language of the road. You have informational signs, directional signs, warning signs, and you have enforcement signs. Enforcement signs are erected upright or those that are drawn on the road surface. For example, you have stop sign, one-way sign, and it points in the direction where the one-way is. No U-turn, no parking, no right turn, no entry, a number of signs. if there is no sign that are erected upright, you will see yellow markings painted on curb walls. That constitute no parking, and you should not park in those areas. You park where white painting is drawn on those curb walls. Those are areas where parking is permitted. You have continuous white lines that are drawn on road surface. No motorist should drive to the right of a continuous white line. There are some other signs, especially like along Knutsford Boulevard, where the dual carriageway is, but there is any elevated median. You see something looking like a zebra crossing. Those crossing depicts a median, but a median that is not elevated. If you disobey a stop sign, it carries a fine of $4,000 or 6 demerit points. If you disobey the traffic light, the red light, that too carries $4,000 a fine or 6 demerit points. On the approach of a traffic light, for example, Halfway Tree Road, Chelsea Avenue, by GIS there is no filter light. You are to obey the light, and whenever you get green, you are to proceed. These lights are so configured that they allow for a pedestrian to cross. So when that red light is on, pedestrians are crossing. So that's why a filter light is not put in. When approaching a roundabout, you are to yield to the person to the right, right? Always allow for that person to go first. A similar thing with a yield sign, a give way sign. You are to yield to the person and allow that person to proceed. If you happen to overtake, you are to do so if the way is clear, and once you complete that maneuver, you are to get back to the left lane and remain there. We have persons anticipating the light. You have those that are anticipating the green, and even before the green comes on, they are off. And you have others who are beating the amber in order to go by as well. And I should tell you this, red means you are to stop, amber means you are to prepare to stop, and green means you are to go if the way is clear.
And remember, always wear your seatbelt.
Recent droughts seemingly belie the fact that we are in the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season, which runs into November. But as we recall, it has not been so for other countries. We must always be prepared for any climatic event. We've got you covered in this regard. Watch this.
Jamaica's location in the Caribbean basin makes us vulnerable to the eventualities of the hurricane season. It is therefore critical that from June to November we always prepare for tropical cyclones. The location of system formation and their usual paths places Jamaica at risk for the entire 6 months of the hurricane season. Systems form in the Western Caribbean, that's Jamaica's location, or in the Gulf of Mexico at the start of the hurricane season. But as we move through July and August, we see development more in the Eastern Caribbean. Systems that develop here tend to move towards the west in the general direction of Jamaica. Then around September and October, we see systems developing more off the west coast of Africa or over the open waters of the tropical Atlantic Ocean. But the tendency again is that they move towards the west with a slight drift to the north, again placing Jamaica in a bullseye position. As we go into November, there is a shift to development in the Western Caribbean once again, sometimes in the southwestern region, but they move towards the north. Again, Jamaica is a target. So So if we look at the trends over the last 18 years, from year 2000 to 2018, we see that several systems have affected the island, such as Hurricane Ivan in 2004, Dean in 2007, or even Sandy in 2012. Many people say that Ivan only passed close to Jamaica. It never really hit us. But it was a direct hit. We came within the ambit of the most tremendous wind speeds that are associated with a tropical cyclone. The eye wall moved over the southern coastline. Dean in 2007 was another hit for us. The center of the system was off the south coast, but again we came within the eye wall of Dean as it moved along the south coast. And in 2012 we had that visitor from the south. This was Sandy, moving over the eastern part of the island, making its entry near Harborview and exiting around Port Antonio on the northeast coastline. It moved across the island as a Category 1 hurricane. We also had some systems that had unexpected but significant impact over the island. We had Wilma in 2005. This was one of the most powerful hurricanes ever formed. The system lingered in the early stage of development just off the southwest coast of Jamaica. We got 2 weeks of heavy rain, even though it did not move over the island. And then in 2008, you might remember Gustav. Gustav caused significant flooding and devastation as it moved across the country. And it was not even a hurricane, it was a tropical storm. Then there was Nicole back in 2010, which caused severe flooding even though it was not even named a tropical storm when the rains were pounding the island. We also had systems that didn't affect us despite our preparations. 2 of the most memorable ones were Tropical Storm Earl and Hurricane Matthew, both of them occurring in 2017. If we look at especially Matthew, all the models were projecting a direct hit for Jamaica, but that is not what happened. Instead, it moved a little toward the east and it devastated Haiti. Some persons may use this as an excuse for not taking hurricane warnings seriously, but remember that despite the technology and the advances that are made in predicting the path of these systems, tropical cyclones are still somewhat unpredictable. It is always better to be prepared for systems that might hit, but don't, rather than be unprepared for one that hits us. So the message I want to get out there is about being prepared all the time, because a tropical depression, a tropical storm, or a hurricane could be a threat anytime before or during the hurricane season.
If you no want pop down and fenke, you fi burn mosquito and run with dengue. So no make water cycle in open container. For them we read up under the danger. Usher them out, run them away. Slap them with the zapper and down them with spray. Use mosquito net and mosquito screen. Protect your household, now make them come in. If you no want pop down and fenke, if you burn mosquito and run with dengue. If pain lick your head and your joints and your eye, and you want fever vomit and your temperature high, it could be dengue, don't hesitate. See a doctor, don't self-medicate. For some painkiller can make you bleed and you will try to recover and no succeed. We no want pop down and fenke. With a burn mosquito and run with dengue. A message from the Ministry of Health.
We're still focused on our roads, but this time on the cleaning side of things. Have you ever noticed that in the mornings our roadways are usually cleaner than the night before? It may not cross your mind, but there are persons in the wee hours of the night picking up garbage and freshening things up. Here's some of their stories next.
Once upon a time, in a land far away from a fairy tale, were a people who lived the way you and I do, but a little differently. Much like the shoemaker and the elves, these street fairies don't leave beautiful pairs of shoes behind, but their art shares some similarities, and it's nonetheless worthy of recognition.
Good night, Donna Anderson, shovel user, shovel and drum, clean up Jamaica.
I'm working in the company 8 years now. I like the job, keep the place tidy and clean.
They always say to me, they say, this is not a woman's work, but a woman has to do what a woman has to do, eh? You have to work for yours, eh? Nobody ain't gonna give you nothing, so you have to work for it.
Yeah, enough of the woman work hard and plenty of the man them. I get used to my work still, so I don't feel no different from the man them. At the end of the day, I will bread where I work for. So any work I work for woman. Woman do man work nowadays.
I'm all right with my work. Yeah, I can provide for myself, my nephew, my niece, my child. She don't really like me day out here, and she rather me dead with she, but I have to make ends meet. I have to work, I have to pay my bills them. But they don't give me nothing, I have to work my own. But people that see me and want to style me and this, because I try to chuck work me do and them things there. But I don't really watch my face. Because I know, say, when my money enough, you see me?
I want to burn fire upon this whole foolishness that people talk from time to time about. If they don't litter, people don't get work.
Yeah, that's what them say some my time. But them can do better still. Plenty of them can do better still.
Enough of them like we, and enough don't like we, because sometimes we have to do with all the truck like all that, so now them don't say, you move from here, say you don't thinking truck and them things, but we don't care about that. That's our work.
When you litter, you waste the resource of your country. You make life more difficult for yourself and your fellow men. And you destroy the aesthetic, the beauty of our country that we boast about so much.
We are cleaning up Jamaica. And without cleaning up not Jamaica, wiper, disease and germs are broke out. So everybody who work with solid waste, important people them. All are important.
Differently from the sweeper them, we don't like the garbage bag up and we go through the bit more easier to it. More time we come out and have to wait on the sweeper them like on the just seat right now. We have to wait till the street sweep up, but if it bag up, it's more easier for it.
Just the fact that you are generating solid waste, I ask you to just take some time to package it properly so that it gives us more ease of cleaning. And it also helps the side men, side women. They are human beings too. Their job is already very difficult. Don't make it more difficult for them by giving them extra work to do. It is very tough on them. The job is difficult. You know, it's not just about lifting things put in a truck, but some of the things they encounter out here. Bags with human feces. That's common occurrence, especially in the market district. The smell of urine is everywhere, and it's in the solid waste that they're picking up. All sorts of meat cuttings, fish bone, fish back, fish gut. Just about anything that people don't want, and they have to pick it up. They have to face it.
At a certain time at the night, when we reach certain hours at the night, like 3:30, 4 o'clock, gunman can strike and we have to run left the garbage some of the time and all them things then. And come back around and take it up see because we cannot leave it. See me? We cannot leave it. And we don't like them keep Jamaica beauty and clean.
Well, I stay out of them way and I'm not really go for them though. I still think them happening. I just stay by myself, each time I look a corner.
And yet, despite the tough nature of the job, these people show up not just for work, but they show up and work.
We're backbone of the company, you know. Who clean the rubbish and my backbone, we're the most important people in the company. How we clean up work, enough mess and good rubbish, bad rubbish, all different kind of rubbish.
I believe deep in my heart that if you talk about heroes and heroines, our sidemen and sidewomen are right up there with any because of the human service that they provide and in very tough circumstances to keep Jamaica clean. Day after day, night after night, they are out and about, they roll up the sleeve, and notwithstanding all that they have to face, their head is down and they are going relentlessly in pursuit of that clean Jamaica. I laud them. I lift my hat to them. They are good people. I just hope that more and more people will see them for who they are. People who are there to safeguard the health of the nation. They are the NSWMA. Without them, we are nothing.
Yeah, I love my work. I love it. I love clean the shovel.
I really use a night
And as sunbeams break the night sky and the stars and moon bid their goodbye, the city smiles.
Speeding through life and the traffic lights till somebody get hurt and the tears start cry. Save a life for the kids, for you and I, save kids' lives. Make the road safe whether day or night, for pedestrians, passengers, cars and bikes. Save a life for the kids, for you and I, save kids' lives.
Hey man, it's our job to keep the road them safe and protect care of the youth them so we know them safe and obey the road code. Don't race, no bother with the speeding case, make face and check your light them at your tires and brakes. Riders and the pillions who left the helmet. Put on the cell phone, no send no text, no matter what color they on your plate.
When you're on the road, take your time. When you're on the road, bear this in mind. When you're on the road, you can save a life. When you're on the road, when you're on the road, I beg you please be safe. Wear your seatbelt for keep you safe, and make sure your helmet's in place when you're on the road.
Hey, follow me. Well, everybody drive good and walk good. Then teach the youth them how to cross good. I beg you obey the road signs, park good. And put the young ones in a car seats, all good. And everybody drive good and walk good. And we say young and old, I beg you cross good. Remember the dark close at night, that is not good. From you I use up the sidewalk, it's all good.
When you're on the road, take your time. When you're on the road, bear this in mind. When you're on the road, you can save a life. When you're on the road, when you're on the road, I beg you please be safe. Wear your seatbelt to keep you safe, and make sure your helmet's in place. When you're on the road, when you're on the road, when you're on the road.
My journey with you for this edition of Jamaica Magazine stops here, but there's more online. You can keep watching on our YouTube channel or the JIS website. And while you're surfing the net, stop by our social media pages and give us some likes. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Until next time, walk good and be safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.